Oh no, the safety protocols at a morally ambiguous black site where they're genetically engineering dinosaurs aren't up to standards.
Throw catastrophic failure in there.
Oh, I love disasters.
Reinvigorate the Jurassic Park franchise.
It was a good callback.
You didn't say the magic word.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Did this movie claw its way into our hearts, or is this one franchise that needs to go extinct? We'll be discussing that in this spoiler-free episode because we are doing our team review of the new Jurassic World Rebirth film. I'm your show host, Corey Winter. Getting into it, we got our team here. Jason Summer.
Na, 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 na.
My wife, Cynthia Winter. I almost said Taylor. Cynthia Winter.
Now, you've almost said Cynthia Winter the entire time we weren't married, and now you almost mess it up.
Yep.
It's real
Cynthia
now.
Winter. And we got my brother, Josh Winter.
Hi.
Oh, so many Winters in here. Look at that.
Summer and winter. And then
And we got Christian James.
What's up?
you have to go change your name. Which season would you like? Would you like spring or autumn?
Spring.
Christian Spring.
All right. So, yes, we're going to make this a very short, spoiler-free episode
It'll be
of
solstice.
our review for Jurassic World Rebirth because coming out next week, we're going to have our full spoiler discussion where we actually just talk about the story stuff and things that would possibly spoil the movie for you. But in this video right here, spoiler-free review. So we have all seen this film. We got to see it early this week before the holiday weekend hit. And so I actually know everyone's scores individually, but you guys have not talked about it.
Right.
So you guys don't actually know what everyone feels about this movie.
Correct.
No.
So before we get into our score, we do have the Eat Sleep Nerd score compiled together already. I want to know your one-sentence summary for this movie across the board.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Bigger doesn't necessarily mean better.
All right. Okay. Why don't we just go down the line? Cynthia.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Would have been a good time for a nap,
Oh.
comma.
And you're an educator?
I'm not used. Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that. Would have been a good time for a nap. Period.
All right. Josh, what you got?
Jurassic World dinosaurs are scary again.
Okay, I like it. Christian.
Jurassic World Rebirth, 6 legs of confusion.
6 legs of confusion.
So I didn't know you guys were going to put some puns into this, but all right, I love it. So I thought Jurassic World Rebirth was a nice rebirth for the franchise, but maybe not for everyone. So, do you guys want to know what we scored this sucker?
Yeah.
Jurassic World Afterbirth.
Oh.
I literally was going to say that, and I was like, let's keep it clean.
All right, so we have the unveiling of our Jurassic World Rebirth Eat Sleep Nerds score. We each individually scored it.
I appreciate.
So we're
going
off to the
detail.
races here. So very quickly, Cynthia's falling down.
Yeah.
She's actually going to score it as a 1.5, but the rest of us are still going. And here we come to the end. We got Jason at a 3.75, Christian at a 3.7. Josh and I are actually at a 4 out of 5. That brings the Eat Sleep Nerd score to a 3.5 out of 5.
Well done. Well done.
Nicely done.
That was
a good
way
one.
better
was
than
fun.
the logo reveal.
Yeah, the logo bill was trash.
I enjoyed that one. I was about ready to quit with the logo.
All right, so since that went kind of fast, let's just take a look at this real quick. So, the majority of us thought okay about the movie, above average. But then we had Cynthia over there
Hi.
at a 1.5 out of 5. About half an hour into this movie, maybe an hour, you leaned over to me and were just like, so do you think this is the worst movie you've ever seen, or is it just me?
Do you know why I did that?
Mm-mm.
You made a face and you made a sound at this, like an exasperated sound at the same stupid thing that happened which at this point I couldn't even tell you which one it was. Also, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to all the people that actually enjoyed this movie. Anyway, you made a sound and you had a couple times. I was gauging it. And then you made a sound at the same time I did and a face, and I looked over and I was like, this is the moment. We are on the same page. And I was like, so do you also think this is the most terrible movie you've ever seen? And you went, what? And I was like, oh no, no, what have I done? And I said, never mind.
This almost created a rift in our brand new marriage last night when we got home.
Yeah.
I could not understand how I can understand why you maybe not just thought it was a good movie, but you thought it was a bad movie. And I could not understand that. But we'll get
And
into
then
that.
I validated my opinions.
You did. But for a Jurassic Park fan, Jurassic Park, the first one, is in one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I think it's like my second favorite movie of all time.
From 93?
Yeah, the original.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love dinosaurs. I love these films. The last 2 in the Jurassic World franchise kind of sucked. But I thought this was a nice return to form for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Yes, there were some parts that were a little cheesy, and some parts that were just kind of like, that was a little too convenient to be believable. And there were entire parts that could have just been left out completely. But overall, I thought it was a nice return to the suspense and horror of Jurassic Park that you got in the original movie, where there's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? There were some jump scares. But I liked it. 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 5 because there were just some things that could have been done better. But how about you guys?
I kind of felt that it was a fun movie, and I have to admit that it was fun because I probably did a jump scare 5 or 6 times. I don't do those. I don't get jump scared. So the fact that it worked on me, that says something about the movie. At least
And it didn't feel cheap for the most part.
No, it didn't. It was I think none of those really felt contrived.
Yeah.
I think that there were 2 takeaways that I kind of took from this. One was, I don't think this felt like a Jurassic Park movie to me. It felt like a monster movie or some sort of dinosaur movie, but it didn't feel like Jurassic Park. It could have been a standalone on its own. I think the Jurassic Park name, it was just kind of Jurassic Park in name only.
I can see that.
I agree with that.
Also, I kind of felt like they had to make bigger monsters in order to make anything seem scary. And those bigger monsters and those bigger dinosaurs took me out of the realm of believability. So those 2 things are what put me down in the 3.75 area.
Let's hop on over to Josh, a more favorable review.
No, I mean, Jason's got valid points, but it's movie nature that you have to go bigger. There's no point in continuing to do it. And I feel like it was done in a logical enough way. Because yeah, I mean, the point is, like, we've done the dinosaur thing. We've done the dinosaur thing 6 times now. 7?
This is 7.
7. So we've done that 7 times now. So you have to kind of keep pushing that envelope, or there's no reason to do it anymore, which might make a more valid argument of, did we just need another Jurassic Park movie? Putting that question aside, or just accepting it as an inevitability because life life finds a way.
I know it's going to be in there somewhere.
So, no, I mean, if you ignore that part and just try to have fun with it, it's like Corey said, it's back to being a horror-ish movie, horror adjacent.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's what I liked about the first couple-ish of the Jurassic Park movies. To me, the biggest thing, we've talked about this before on the channel, is that they kind of let go of this idea of the dinosaurs being super smart. Like the favorite thing for me about this movie was that there were velociraptors on the screen for about 30 seconds.
Like they weren't the dinosaur.
No, they weren't the dinosaur.
Yeah.
No, there was
And
one that was basically the replacement for velociraptors.
yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But even that was kind of kept relatively short. But more importantly, the thing that made me think about the velociraptors is the last couple of Chris Pratt movies made the velociraptors so smart that I didn't really buy it anymore.
They felt like robots.
Yeah. And so, again, we've talked about it before. The dinosaurs felt like animals again. They were acting like animals again. And that makes it more believable to me because animals are scary. The scary thing about them is that they're usually stronger than us, but they're not very smart. And you don't know what they're going to do.
Still gonna pet him.
So, so no, to me, it was nice. It was scary again. The dinosaurs felt more believable because they weren't, running around police cars and stuff like that. Like they were just being dumb animals that were kind of somewhere between confused and upset that we were there.
Yeah.
And to me, that felt more believable than the rest of the Jurassic World franchises felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, cool. Let's just keep going down the scale. So we can do Christian and then Cynthia next. So Christian.
So I really have Jason's side on this. As in, like, the Jurassic World movies didn't really do it for me, but not in the sense of that how they played the dinosaurs. Like, because I feel like their idea of going bigger and better is to make them smart.
Yeah.
And then them using it against us. Kind of like how America's done a lot of things, and we won't talk about that. But yeah, and then so to me, with those other movies, like, it still was kind of scary, but in the way that they went about it was weird. But as for this one, yeah, they're way more believable, unpredictable animals. The making them bigger or making them however kind of weird. Because I would even think that they would go backwards to using non
like
mutated animals.
Yeah. Go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics, because you can still do that and then bring back the horror element or the suspense element, because they're still unpredictable, but they're just not more scary because they have another arm, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, as we all know, I went into this movie not really going, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part because of that.
Okay.
Because of the bigger and bad and or the scariness factor of it.
Now the outlier.
So I know Cynthia has some just production value aspects to talk about in this movie. So
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So 1.5 out of 5.
Was generous.
Wow.
The majority of my qualms with this movie are gonna be in the spoiler part of our video.
Yeah. So talking like big terms.
Yeah, because I have so many examples of all the terrible things. And okay, so we got home from this movie, and I was like, was I just in a bad mood? I took a step back, and I was like, did I really dislike it this wholeheartedly, or is it me? And after a while, I realized I really disliked it that wholeheartedly. Like it.
No.
I was even thinking, like, I should watch it again. And then I had the thought, if you paid me to watch it again, I might turn you down. So I'll list the good things, the things that I thought went well and that I enjoyed. The CGI was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I thought overall
if you have to start with that as your big thing you like, that's not a good sign.
You see my generous score of 1.5. The CGI was pretty good for what I expected. And based on the other ones that I've seen, I thought it pretty much held up.
Still trying to go down the positives?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm finding it.
You can stop at 1. It's okay.
The storyline itself, like I'm talking
the premise,
the main
So yeah,
storyline.
There were 2 storylines in this movie. The main one, obviously, was ScarJo and stuff. Then there was a splinter plot line,
which we could have done without.
Don't get me started. But the main adventure storyline, what the goal of the movie was, what the goal of the main characters were, that storyline, fine. Mm-hmm. Predictable, duh. But it had to be. You had to know where the movie was going to end. Fine. The characters. Okay. The first half of the movie, I checked my watch about 45 times in this movie. Most of them were in the first hour because I was like, dear Lord, if something doesn't happen, I'm about to have to get up and go to the bathroom for about an hour and 20 minutes.
She's just in there smoking a cigarette.
But see, that's where the experience for this movie differs so much, because to you, that first hour was a drag. To me, I thought that was a perfect return to form for this franchise because it really gave time things to set up.
Well, it was a good setup. Like, I understand why they had to do all of that setup before you get into the dinosaurs before you get into the real adventure. But
She was here to see the dinosaurs, damn it.
I did want to see dinosaurs, and that part was fine. A lot of it, in my expert opinion, there was some really bad acting in the first half of the movie. There was some, like, that had to have been a first take, and they kept it. The delivery of some of the lines and the interaction between like, I cringed at points, especially on the boat.
Is this
and like,
what it's like listening to me, by the way?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
like I mean, I actually sat there and made faces at the screen because I was so put off by the horrendous delivery and interactions of some of these characters, and like, to the point where it cannot be explained away by the characters themselves. It can't be explained away by, like, you know, there's this crisis situation. They don't know each other. There's high tensions. It could not. I am not an actress. But apparently neither were most of those people.
Ooh, okay. So
in those scenes in the beginning, the boat was the worst part of it. The boat was the worst part of it. Like, specific, I can't talk about it yet, but when all the main people are in the boat before the thing happens, they were going back and forth, and I was like, should they really have kept that?
You specifically called out Mahershala Ali.
Hold on.
As a
Academy
best actor.
Award-winning
You did.
Mahershala Ali.
I said he was the saving grace of a lot of this movie. Mostly in the second half when things started to happen. I liked him. I liked his character in the second half of the movie. He was one of my favorite characters in the second half. His acting, better than most in the first half of the movie. My goodness.
So I will say, to your point, I do agree. I think the three main leads of this movie, ScarJo, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali, were definitely several tiers above the rest of the acting of this film.
Yes.
Like, all of the secondary characters, I don't feel like they even knew what their lines were half the time.
Should I say the thing that's going to make everybody in this room, including everyone on the internet, lose instant respect for me?
Obviously, yeah.
You didn't like ScarJo?
I don't like ScarJo.
Yeah,
not in this movie.
No,
It's
you
okay.
I
get
don't
out.
like her in any movie.
Get out.
And I am not kidding you. I wish there was a camera on my face when the movie started, because she was one of the very first people on screen, right?
Yes.
Her face showed up, and it's nothing against her face. She has a beautiful face.
Yeah, she does.
But her face showed up, and internally and maybe externally, I went, damn it. Because she was
really
the first.
sounds like a personal issue.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful
Deep down.
actress.
Yeah, I
She's a
mean-
wonderful, successful actress.
What did
I
ScarJo
don't
do
know-
to you?
I don't know.
I mean, if like she shows up and you have a visceral reaction, that is.
I feel like she's been in too many things now. Here's what it is. I feel like she's been in too many things. I feel like she's been in too many movies, but I feel like she's been in too many movies where every character she plays is exactly the same. Not like the good person or the bad person, but the way she acts every role, I feel like
She's
is
just being ScarJo?
exactly the same. Which works for so many people and apparently works for her. I just don't like it.
You just liked her better when she was a computer.
She doesn't get that reference.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't see
Okay.
movies.
I'd
bro.
probably anyway. As far as the supporting
have more.
cast,
Okay.
I have so much more.
This is supposed to be a short episode, but all right.
Well, we'll get there. As far as the supporting cast, first of all, we didn't need the entire family storyline.
okay, yeah, let's go and talk about the family.
Well,
We
wait,
didn't
should
need
we?
that.
'Cause they-
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that even in the trailer?
Yeah,
I think that.
the daughter was, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't
We're
need
not
that.
going to talk about what
whole
happened to that
storyline.
family, but I will say the family subplot of this movie did not need to be in there whatsoever.
No. Could have cut it and made a tight 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
That would have raised it to a 2.5 for me.
Wow.
And there were
You know what? You know
aspects-
what? That probably would have raised it to at least a 3 for me if the family wasn't in the movie, because a lot of their storyline is
It
what was just
pointless.
plot convenience, past suspension of disbelief. Why did this not happen? Plot convenience.
There
I'm over it.
was a T-Rex scene with this family.
Ugh.
Just like, what were they thinking the
I have-
entire time?
I
We'll
have
talk about that in the spoiler
So
discussion,
many
but
points from that specific scene.
So, okay. So you get the most verbose about something you've disliked.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
You're gonna hear that a lot, aren't you?
I'm not usually the one here that's has
That's
like
what I was just pointing out.
Yeah, I'm not usually the one that has the
Strong opinions.
strong opinion that can't be swayed in some way.
Welcome
you
to
will
being a
not
nerd.
sway me.
Welcome to being a nerd.
Oh, I
She's ready to die on this
despised
hill.
this
right?
movie. Absolutely.
That is factually what
the only thing that
what
will
a
happen
nerd
to my
is.
score is that I validate my own opinion enough that it'll continue to go down.
So what did anyone else not like about this movie? Obviously the family, we talked about that, but anything else that kind of really stood out to you guys?
There were a couple parts where I think, I guess just from my own personal experience, that things happened in the movie where I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, you have to be careful of FODs in engineering and lab environments. And so one of the big problems was somebody let an FOD, foreign object, debris, into an area, which caused the problem that
I like the opening of the movie.
the opening of the movie, right? And I'm just like, this isn't believable, especially with the danger that was being held behind the doors.
It was such a casual mistake.
Yeah, it was such a
too.
casual mistake that it's just like, initially I thought it was going to set off the movie in a much more negative direction for me, because I'm like, if this is what they're going to do, I'm not going to believe this movie.
Especially with Homie on the other side of the door. She was like, hey, bro.
Right, yeah.
what you doing?
Yeah, you have stuff and you dropped it. Where did it go? Like, they should
Right.
both be looking for it. So there's thing that was, I guess that was my first thing where it's just like going, uh-oh.
20 seconds into the movie.
I was going, uh-oh. Now, for me, the movie did redeem itself in a lot of ways, but still, it's like those little attentions to detail, I think, would have helped it a lot more.
Oh no, the safety protocols at a morally ambiguous black site where they're genetically engineering dinosaurs aren't up to standards.
Well, so I will
Newman.
say, that scene that we're talking about, kind of circling us back around into the positive territory, there were a lot of, not really callbacks to the first movie, but like kind of like the whole Star Wars Episode 7 thing, where it was essentially the same story as the original movie, but in a different light, in a different setting and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There was a lot of that in this movie. Like I can't really say it without spoiling stuff, but like several scenes almost shot for shot, but like in different surroundings and stuff.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Homages.
Yeah.
Homages, yeah. But even that first thing that we're talking about, the whole failure of the system, very reminiscent of what happened in the first movie to like set up the whole disaster of the park. I loved that. It kind of like reinvigorated the whole thing
Just
of the first movie.
Throw catastrophic failure in there.
I love disasters.
Reinvigorate the Jurassic Park franchise.
It was
But-
a good callback.
You didn't say the magic word.
It was a good callback without being exact.
And to that same point, in a lighter light, without getting into the story.
You mean like a
When-
brighter light?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're on the boat in the beginning, like a whole big portion of this movie at the beginning was on a boat. When they did the big successful thing that they were trying to do, I actually felt excited for them, which I remember feeling in the first movie when they saw the Brochiosauruses for the first time. I remember being excited that same way.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's hard to beat. I'll give you that.
I disagree.
All right.
You
I
can't
was
tell him how he felt.
I was excited that they did the thing they were trying to do. But I was excited because they finally did the thing they were trying to do. And there were so many other things along the way that I was like, you probably could have done this 10 minutes ago if you'd been better prepared and thought it through. And I couldn't get past that. I have specific examples.
Okay.
Well, we're getting close to spoiler territory. So any final, just overall feelings of this movie that don't involve spoilers that you guys want to talk
Should I
about?
mention the little Easter egg at the beginning I saw?
Yeah, that's it.
This is
yeah, it's an Easter egg. It's fine.
this is what probably gave me the 0.5. Near the very beginning of the movie, when like
They're in New York City.
yeah, they're sitting in the car talking. They pass by, like it's in the background. They pass by a school bus, and on the side it says Crichton Middle School, like Michael Crichton. I saw that and I was like, "Hey, that was cool." That gave me the 0.5. Yeah, that's what gave me the 0.5. That was a nice little Easter egg. Because it was so in the background, but I thought that was neat.
It's fun. It's worth going to see. Unless you're weird.
Yeah, I would say it's a good summer popcorn movie. I would definitely say that.
Let's see if Rotten Tomatoes agrees. On Rotten Tomatoes right now, the critics are at a 51%.
We don't believe in critics.
Audience is at a 72%. So audience is a little bit more favorable.
No,
As a reminder,
3.5 times 2 is 7.
Yeah,
as
they
a
line up with
reminder,
us. Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is the percentage of people that thought positively about the movie. So essentially the way to read this is that half the critics did not like it, half the critics did. So, oof, not great. But it's actually significantly better than the past 2 Jurassic World films. So, well, all of that said, that wraps us up for the spoiler-free review of Jurassic World Rebirth. Stay tuned. Coming out next week, we have our spoiler discussion of this entire movie. We're going to be talking about some of those story elements that we want to talk about here in this episode. We're going to be talking about all of the acting and all the stuff.
There was acting in this movie?
Wow.
Ooh.
In the second half.
Ooh.
Also, we'll be doing our Superman review coming up too.
Superman.
Yes.
It's coming out next week. We are seeing that on July 8th. Our spoiler-free...
Suck it, nerds.
Our spoiler-free review comes out for that probably the very next day. Then we'll do the same thing we're doing here, where we do a whole spoiler discussion. It's probably going to be a big one.
That one's going to be girthy.
Super.
Well, thank you for tuning in. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. If you have not already liked this video, leave some comments down below. If you have seen this movie, let us know what you thought about it without spoiling it for everyone else. And please share us with your friends and family over on social media. That goes a long way into supporting this channel. Now, dear.
Yeah.
3 things that nerds should be doing before they go check out Jurassic World Rebirth.
You want me to be the one to tell them before I tell them to go see this movie? I suppose. Eat. Sleep. Continue sleeping. Maybe miss the movie. And nerd.
Take it easy, people.